We have a lot to cover in today's session. We're going to be taking a look at what's going on with gold. We're going to look at some important technical levels. We're going to be starting with the stock market. We're going to really formulate our plan right here with the stock market right now, taking a look at important technical levels. We're going to get into Bitcoin as well, and we're really going to focus in on the dollar in this episode over here. We're going to make sure everyone gets reset right now, gets ready over here. It's Tuesday, big week ahead of us. Let's focus in on what's going on and what we could do to prepare. This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. Glad that you are all here with me right now. We're going to start with the S&P 500, okay? First things that come to my mind over there. By the way, it was pointed out in yesterday's comments of the YouTube video to go ahead and add this trend line in over here. Let me go ahead and make that a little bit darker for you so that I could start pointing out things that are important to me. And I hope they also then are for you. This trend line over here, we entered it during the live session this morning. It was pointed out yesterday to me. We connected this area of support over here. You could see it was in play here, still a support. There is resistance. It's a good level, a touch into support. Again, over here, a touch over there. Back in over here. It's an important level that I was missing yesterday. Glad that it was brought to my attention. You could see that so far, that has been what we came into as resistance. And I have a couple of things going on right now. You could see over here, I have this trend line over here, right? That's looking for a resumption, okay? Price earlier in the day was in no man's land. No man's land is between resistance and support, and we were trading right in the middle. That was no man's land. Now towards the end of the session, S&P down 1%. What caused this, by the way? So it could be a couple of things. The first thing in my mind that was causing this was that the price was way overbought in that uptrend. This is a normal, very healthy pullback so far. Here's the thing. You never know whether or not this is going to translate into a deeper correction or we're going to resume up right now. Now, we have a couple of tools we use in order to make sure that we're not taking a trade. By the way, you never take the trade as it comes into support because you don't know if it's going to hold or not. There are layers upon layers of edges that we add to. By the way, if you want to pull up the true trend, just go over here on TradingView. This is the TradingView software platform. Go to indicators, just type in true trend until you find true trend, Conquer Trading and Investing, and go ahead and add that to your chart if you would like to use that. Now, I generally do not use that. By the way, there are a couple of videos on the Forex playlist on this channel that give great overviews and tutorials on how I use the true trend and the true trend BTC. Now, I have been using it lately this week because of seeing that price was way overbought to give myself a little bit of an edge. Okay, we could see here that we are getting the first pullback, and just as importantly, that pullback so far is healthy just into the first support. This has kind of reset things. Is it possible? Is it possible now to go ahead and look for an entry over here if this holds? For example, let's say Asia looks like this, right? And then London, if that resumes out over there, breaking that trend line over there, making a higher high, is that an entry point? You know what? It is. And it could be a good one. It really sincerely could be. I'm staying neutral regardless of what happens. I'm waiting for a little further clarity. The move up over here has been a nice, beautiful move over here. In my past, when I first started trading, a lot of my largest losses came immediately after my largest gains. I was more prone to take on more risk than I should, and I was in a rush to go ahead and place that new trade. I've corrected that behavior a long time ago. I'm still looking and waiting here. Is this a possible entry? It is a possible entry so long as that support holds. You now see that we have the entry CCI pulled back versus the uptrend. That's all reset, right? Into support, a resumption off. Yes, I could see it. Anyone taking that trade? Of course, I see it all day long if you get the trigger. I'm standing aside. We'll keep monitoring it as things develop. We'll see what's next. So, by the way, before we move over to the Nasdaq now, being neutral. What does neutral mean? It means that you don't have a position in the market. You don't have a position. You're not long on the S&P. you're not short on the S&P, right? Whether you're trading the S&P, the SPX, the SPY, it's all the same thing. It's all the same analysis, right? Whether you're trading the E-minis over here, it's all the same thing. I think right now being neutral, not having a position for me works best. I want to be able to go ahead and wait for further clarity, and then I'll be looking when to attack. Let's check out the Nasdaq over here. First thing I see, I'm going to go to the daily time frame. I see that we're closing down a little bit. No big deal. I'm going down to the 8-hour time frame. I see that this is where we closed out positions, right? That morning, Monday morning into the resistance. You can see over here that we since have tested it again. That resistance is definitely in play. You could see the last 2 touches to it, and you could see price here is kind of pulling back. What does it mean? Here's the support, right? Go over here. You could see also the entry CCI is pulled back. I'm not going to get into it. I don't need to go much further with you on, although that, listen, a couple of things. You have a lot of people really still short the market. They could be correct. We're not going to look at that right now. We've been looking at that last week. We looked at all the speculative positions short here, the Nasdaq. Only a small portion of them have covered. They could be on the right side of the trade. I don't know. It seems like they felt a lot of pain over here. That was definitely a bit of a short squeeze over here into the, so far this resistance holding. I'm just going to give it more time. There's some big risk events coming up. By the way, the pressure today, whether you want to see, I look at it as like the market was oversold. The market was way overbought. Finally, the resistance held. Price is resetting. Now, there's always a reason for everything, right? We had over here, what was it? Eli Lilly stopped their antiviral treatment for COVID because they ran into some problems. They've paused that. Is the market backing off on that? Perhaps, and rightfully so, right? So whether it's President Trump or Dr. Fauci, both have said that that treatment is a big deal. The antiviral treatment is a big deal. That, as I say antiviral, excuse me. I don't mean antiviral. I mean antibody, an antibody treatment. So I could understand the market coming off a little bit, but the market was just overbought. This is normal technical behavior. Not only that, you could see that still we're in no man's land. When I say that, we're between resistance and we're between support. This, again, just affirms my view that right now I want to wait. It's such a position of strength. Patience in the market is what separates those who really, really go ahead and go on to conquer them and those who, give their money away. I'm right here. I'm looking to trade from a position of strength, just waiting for something further to develop. And again, we've just come off exiting some big trades. It makes sense to wait, let price reset itself, wait for further consolidation, wait for further clarity, and then look to attack. I do want to give a quick look over here, though, at the Dow. Right? Same thing. You could see that we've came into that resistance, that channel resistance right here. It coincided with that horizontal resistance at 28,865. Prices coming back, pulling off. Now, get above this resistance, by the way. That might open up an opportunity to get long, but there's nothing that I see right now that I'm interested in. I do like going ahead now and clarifying this bit of this trendline support over here. As if we come back into that trendline support over there, that would offer what would be a potential opportunity for me, right? Buying off of the support down over here. That would look good. You could see also if you follow the horizontal line of my mouse over there, there is nice local support as there as well. That would be a good area for me to consider. We'll see if that comes in. That's why I'm making this a little bit neater right now. I'm going to go ahead and I'll just circle that area over here. If we come down into there, I might look for a long entry if we hold and resume off that. Now, what happens if we break down? Well, we're not breaking down today. I'm not even going to look at that. Maybe tomorrow morning we'll be looking at that. Maybe tomorrow in the afternoon. Let's look at the Russell. All right, this looks pretty good. Why do I say this looks pretty good? First of all, I had this light. I'm going to go to the daily time frame from you. I had that light line of resistance over there. You could see it's a light line. That's why I put it over there. I'm going to go ahead and just, for the moment, remove this blue box over there. That blue box was a supply zone. There's a lot of supply in there. I think that was a good place. We might see a rejection. This light line, this light line of resistance over there. So far, we have been rejected by. However, price is still certainly quite bullish above this trend line over here, which is my parabolic trend line. And as long as we're above it, we are definitely looking for the possibility that this move can continue. What I do want you to see, though, is over here that this light line of local support so far has held, right? Is that a place to lean in and to buy now and a resumption off of there? Looking at the true trend, you could see that we have setup criteria. I don't think so. For me, it's not. For me, it's, again, stand aside and observe time. That's what I'm going to be doing across the equity markets. I want to talk about the dollar. This is a big deal over here as the dollar's breaking above this 93.50 resistance here today, closing above it, closing outside this channel today. Before I do, let me start over here. You could see the Bloomberg dollar index over here, sharply up over here right now. You could see a little bit higher. There is a little bit resistance. Now, I do think that this bid in the dollar today is mostly coming because October 15th is the deadline that the UK has given the EU for some type of agreement, whether or not they're going to wind up leaving with an agreement or whether or not there's going to be a hard exit. And I believe the dollar has been bid all day. These charts were just posted here by Zero Hedge over here. I'm going to share them with you. You could see over here the pound down substantially today, under pressure. I shouldn't say substantially, but under pressure. Also, the euro, and both of those are weighing on the US dollar, okay? So what is weird for me, or what I feel like I need to bring to the conversation over here, is that with that risk event, you're seeing gold also under pressure. Now, gold is generally a safe haven asset, right? And you are seeing that safe haven flows. The Japanese yen has been pretty strong. We've looked at some technical patterns, ascending wedges that seem to be breaking down. We see the Japanese yen bid. I don't see gold bid. So it's giving me mixed signals. And that just leads me to believe further, listen, I'm better off not feeling like I need to be in the market, not like I need to be in a position, but just waiting this out and let's see what happens over the next session and see before we look to take some new positions over here. Gold, however, remains the same for me. You could see this triangle I have over here. I'm just going to highlight it. And as long as we're within this triangle right here, we are just neutral, not looking to play that range as we get close to the pinnacle over here, waiting here for a breakout or a breakdown. A couple of things I just want to add to the conversation. If you missed the live stream this morning, what I said was if we lose 1904, at that point, I was going to make this trend line out here, this outer trend line brighter. That's now the big level to watch. And that's the level that I need to break out above in order for me to look for a technical break and to go long on the precious metals. It remains the same. If we break down over here, if we lose this trend line over here, right? If we break below the support we got over there at 1872, even though I expect further downside, I'm not looking to play that move to the downside. I'm not looking to sell gold, okay? I'll just stay neutral and I'll look for any retest of support and try to be able to go ahead and take a long position off of a successful retest. So right now I'm neutral. I've changed this outer trend line over here. By the way, I'm going to talk about that in a second when I get to the dollar index. As a trader, you have to be able to change your mind and to adapt day by day as the market continues to unravel and stay with the flow. Okay. Now, I did say it this morning when price was still up here that if we broke below, I would then be looking at the outer trend line over here, make it brighter so that everyone knows. And that would be my new indicator here for looking for a technical bullish breakout over here. That's what's in play today. That's what's new here on gold. Neutral on gold, waiting for some type of indication of where I could take an entry. What about silver? Silver, same thing. First of all, you could see also this over here. This is kind of where we're stuck between. We're looking for the exact same thing. I'm first leaning towards gold. Gold makes the move first. Silver is not known as a safe haven currency. Gold is. We're coming across a couple of big risk events, whether it's the Greek exit now or just two and a half weeks later, the US election. And we're going to talk about that. Let me get into that really quick with you before we go any further. This is By the way, a survey from Bank of America. It's a global fund manager survey. I've shared it before in the past. I'm going to share it again right now. What do they consider the biggest tail risk? Obviously, you could see the changes between October and September, and COVID remains the same. After that is the U.S. election. Notice down over here, though, a couple of things. Greek exit is the lowest one. Could that be a black swan event that we're looking at right now? Listen, it absolutely could be. Again, I'm surprised gold is not so bid. I understand why the DXY is bid coming up to that October 15th deadline. I'm seeing the yen a little bit bid, but it's possible. And again, the market's always catching the most people off guard. You could see over here, people aren't watching the Greek exit. That could potentially be a big black swan event over there. I'm going to keep watching for that. Everyone is expecting the U.S. election to be a big deal, right? Maybe it's a non-event. I don't know. Another one that worries me that's not really seen over here is the U.S. trade war. Of course, if President Trump does win the election, that could become a big risk pretty quickly. So that's something that is definitely on my radar that I'm watching out for. A couple of other things over here. People, this is again the same I'm going to be talking about before I get back into silver, before I get into Bitcoin, and importantly, the DXY. Over here, this is the Bank of America Global Fund Manager Survey. You could see over here that most of them think right now we are early cycle and that the risks of the recession continue to dwindle. Now, I agree with that personally and have for a while, right? My question is, when do we return to growth? I still think at best, that's a couple of years away. That's why I think the precious metals will continue to be in a bull market for the foreseeable future. That's talking about fundamentals. You could see over here in the past that mostly they've been correct. Mostly they've been on the right side of this. Here again, just to make note of. What about this? When do you think a credible COVID vaccine will be announced? And we have most of the people positioning for the first quarter of 2021, right after the U.S. election. What else do we have over here? What will the U.S. election outcome will cause the maximum market volatility? Of course, everyone, including us, is looking out for a possible contested election result. That smooth transition of power is a big deal. It is one of the, cornerstones of America and American democracy. It is one of the cornerstones of America, and I would like to see that remain. Let's see what happens over there. That's just a few weeks away. I also think, in my opinion, the biggest risk is over here. If there were a Democratic blue wave, if the Democrats took control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, I think that would be the biggest risk the market could see. Of course, not more than a contested election result, but definitely second as well for myself. What else do we have to see over here? Do you think that the U.S. outcome will be contested? And you could see over here, over 60% of the manager surveyed do believe that it will be contested. That's a large number. What else? Anything else that I wanted to share with you? Over here, you could see the S&P 500 range bound since July. That was one of the outcomes that we were definitely looking for. Interesting. What else? Apple today, they released the new iPhone 12, which looked a lot like the iPhone 5. Nevertheless, a non-event. I'm just going to call this a non-event. What is Apple trading at right now? Minus 2% on the day after that breaking out over here of that bull flag. This is consolidating as the equity markets are consolidating, right? Individual stocks right now are consolidating after a big move up. Let's wait for some more clarity. Today is Prime Day. Again, also, this looks like the Nasdaq, in my opinion, just a little bit of consolidation. Is this the beginning of a bigger move down? It's too soon to say. If you do trade individual stocks, by the way, watching my analysis on the index is going to give you that, let's say, that current to trade around. Okay? When we're bullish, when we're looking to buy on the indexes, stepping in front of individual stocks is when you're looking to actually ride them as well, and vice versa. If we become bearish, then obviously individual stocks. This is giving you following the index is giving you the best indication of the overall market health. I want to finish going back to silver over here before I get into the DXY, before I get into Bitcoin, you could see over here that we continue consolidating, right? For me, it remains the same right now until we break the resistance at 26. I am neutral, standing aside on silver, not looking to sell it, not looking to buy it, playing that patience game, that waiting game. If gold starts breaking out, then silver could play catch up. Watch gold first. Gold will lead. Wait for gold to be doing the hard work. Wait for gold to be flying again. And then look, if you're looking for that volatility, which I don't like, look for silver. What about Bitcoin over here? Let's take a look over here. We could see yesterday on the daily time frame that Bitcoin closed not above that resistance, that trendline resistance, but at it, right? And then since all day, we've had a pullback into basically, remember this was pointed out in the live session, that bull flag to me, right? And then we were like, oh yeah, it looks like a bull flag. It wound up popping up. And we've come back and so far have testing that little bit of local now should be support and it's holding. There's not much to add over here except this is really bullish looking. We're not even going to get into Bitcoin today except that this bullish behavior. When I say bullish behavior, we were first watching for that trend line break over here, right? And then we were looking for this lighter trend line for confirmation. We got the break. We then break above the confirmation into the first resistance right here, have pulled back into a bull flag, broke out, and now we're retesting. Okay? Bullish, not only Bitcoin, you could see the trend line over here was broken on Ethereum. Again, breakout, consolidation, retest of the resistance, and now that's what we need to break above that 390 level on Ethereum in order for, I believe, to Ethereum start flying back towards yearly highs. And it's not just Ethereum. It's, you click over here. Here's that trend line break again on Chainlink. You could see the breakout over there. This has sent everything off. Looking very good on the crypto markets. Let's talk about the DXY together. Over here, I think this is something very important to focus in on. And I'm going to start by saying or reinforcing that I do believe that you need to be very flexible as a trader, ready to adapt. Okay? I was watching for a break of this channel over here, number one, and also a break above this 93.50 level, right? Have we broken? I mean, you know what? I honestly don't know. What do you think? Have we broken out of this channel to the upside? Have we cleared this 93.50 resistance level yet? For me, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I do believe, again, dollar bid today on Greek exit concerns on that October 15th deadline. I believe that this is all noise, and I do believe that the longer term direction of the dollar is going to continue to be down. However, this could be right here the start of a bigger move, and I'm watching out for it. We do have some really big risk events over the next few weeks, right? I would not be surprised if this move holds over here. And by the way, I'm still waiting here for the close, right? Which is another 30 minutes to see whether or not I broke out of this resistance over here, if I'm closing above it or below it on the daily time frame. So again, it's just hard for me to say. I honestly don't know, and I don't know how I judge that. So probably what happens over the next overnight sessions, whether or not that is in Asia, if Asia makes a higher high here, then I'm going to say, all right, well, we're resuming here, and now I'm targeting in this area over here next. That will be the next thing I look for. If Asia takes us down, then I'm going to say, all right, what's London going to do over here? So the next two sessions are very important here. I can't make a call yet. And I'm okay with that. You could see that I'm okay with not having any type of clarity, right? We were able to have some clarity last week, getting to some good trades over here. Also tried to take a trade on gold, an aggressive entry at 1904. That one didn't work out. But now it's clear to me. I was waiting for this one. Never got the resumption I was looking for. Kept me out of a trade. I'm neutral. I'm good being neutral. I'm really comfortable with not having that clarity, and I feel actually that is a huge edge, and I'm happy to share that with you today in today's video. If you did find it helpful, please go ahead and smash that like button. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know. I like to receive that feedback from you, knowing what's making a difference in your trading. And yeah, have a beautiful day, everyone. I'll talk to you soon.